Eric Lanask here at the Javits Center in New York. We're here at the Cloud Expo. Matt, kind of spent a couple of days here listening to what's going on. A lot of different takes on some of the hot topics in the cloud. But one thing that I'm really getting a sense for is that we're seeing real adoption of the cloud. It's not so much about what is cloud, what can I do with it. There's an understanding of that now.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at what's happening in the space, both from a public cloud side as well as now in the past couple of years from a private cloud side, people are doing real things. It's come past the education point. People are starting to understand some of the more prevalent and common definitions of what it means to be a cloud infrastructure. From a provider side, as well as what it means to build private cloud internally. They're coming to the realization that that operational process has just hands down won the day in terms of what they want to do moving forward.
Now, when you say it's won the day, why? What's given it that momentum?
Well, things just take too long in a traditional IT department. When you think about it, and you've got at best you got a 6-week time frame to get new servers provisioned. You got to hand it off to 3 different people. One guy does your compute, another guy does your network, another guy does your storage. That's just not efficient. What a cloud can really do is bring that all together, and the speed of delivery time can get down to something around 10-15 minutes. And they want to deliver that, especially in large enterprise organizations, they want to deliver that to their customers. Those are the users, those are the businesses that need that reactive capability from IT to be able to deliver those solutions quickly.
Now, what happens when companies are leveraging multiple clouds? How do they bring that all together?
That's what RightScale does. So we provide a common interface across public and private resource pools, and really our play is about picking a resource pool that's most appropriate for the job that you're trying to deploy. Don't go all your eggs in one basket with Amazon, don't put all your eggs in one basket with your private cloud. You don't need everything in one place. But you also don't want to have to maintain different processes, different systems, understand different APIs, understand different resource behavior to be able to take advantage of all of that. RightScale does provide a layer of abstraction on top to maintain that all in a similar fashion.
Are there any particular strategies or guidelines that you suggest folks follow when determining what to put where?
When you're determining what to put where, you should really focus on the applications criteria. The old model is that you have a data center and you have a bunch of applications and you force fit your applications into that data center because it's what you have. Now the model can be, I have a portfolio of applications and I have my criteria for those applications. And those criteria may be the geography that that application needs to be deployed to, the price point that I have to meet for that line of business. It could be compliance or security requirements. It could be the legal terms that a cloud provider will agree to with you in order to deploy that application. And some applications are going to be a better fit for some resource pools than others, which is why you should now have that flexibility.
Now, you mentioned security. What happens to the security question when you're talking about resources being placed in multiple clouds, perhaps even multiple types of clouds?
Well, again, it's about picking the resource pool appropriate for the job. So if, let's say, one provider has a better story around data security for a HIPAA compliant requirement, and you need your EPHI data in that, and they'll sign a business associates agreement with you that they'll take on the HIPAA ownership and the insurance if that cloud is compromised. Well, that's a good business play. It's a smart play. On the other hand, if you're using a commodity infrastructure, you'll probably get it for cheaper, but they might not have that same level of flexibility with you on the business terms. When it comes to security, really you have to think about things the way that you're probably thinking about them now, but understand that all of these public providers especially, they've got massive investment into doing this. Think of Amazon, who has more people's credit card numbers than I think many other people have. And they've invested a massive amount of dollars and time and energy into understanding that security question. You know, even in you look at a small business environment, and if you have a small business environment, their idea of security is to have their servers in a storage closet, which everybody knows where the key is for. It's all about relative security. It's all about how you look at it. You should evaluate things based on what you actually have. Don't use security as a trump card just because you're afraid of making the adoption.
What does the growth and interest in and conversation around big data do as far as management?
Big data is a really hot and interesting area in this because you've got a real problem now with how much has been collected, and to really ask that data good questions, you need a lot of resources. And a lot of people don't have a lot of resources. Think of these really innovative startup companies that are coming out with really cool solutions to problems that don't have $3 million to go spend on building out a data center that they can then use to actually crunch all this cool data that they're getting into useful answers. A cloud infrastructure allows them to completely expand their capacity on demand to the actual business need, and assuming they have a good business model, then that's going to make perfect financial sense as well. I'll give you an example. For GIS and global mapping, you've got a situation where a traditional model is to go and buy a $60,000 piece of hardware, put it in a data center, run that for 9 months to get your answers out. When you can now go to a public provider and launch 1,000 servers, 2,000 servers, 10,000 servers for a few days and get the same answer at 1/10 the time and at 1/10 the cost, and not have to deal with the maintenance around that actual hardware, it's a pretty compelling story.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it.
With TMC, I'm Eric Lanask here at Cloud Expo. Follow my conversation with Matt and everybody else here at the Cloud Expo on my Twitter feed @elanask.